2020 had been a focus of ours for many years leading up to it because we were planning on celebrating our 50th anniversary. We had huge bands scheduled to play underplays and just a lot of activity, and we were forecasting it as what would likely go down as our best year in the history of our business.
We were looking at increasing some hours of operation, looking at opening up during the lunch hours. A great time for us in the spring because the Twins are playing and the Timberwolves are playing. So there's a lot of foot traffic downtown. And so we were extremely optimistic to what the rest of the year would bring.
We were daring, we were trying new things, and we were really just picking up some speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's take it past. The Seattle conference was, again, another great conference. I've been to many of them. And it was one of the first times that I heard a presenter say that they weren't only working for the nighttime economy, but they were a customer of the nighttime economy, which I was like, yeah, I can agree with that. I am a customer of our Minneapolis nighttime economy. And so being in Seattle, I thought it was my responsibility to see their nighttime economy, which was phenomenal. It didn't dawn on me then that those would be some of my last shows that I'd see, and I saw them in Seattle.
We specialize in a new age twist on classic soulful meals. Really a place for people to kind of come in and celebrate and network with friends. I think I was probably one of the first, if not the first individual to own his own venue in downtown Minneapolis. That was a person of color here recently. And so I think there's definitely more opportunity, but I think it's just about providing a space where people can really be their authentic selves when they come in, and understanding that there are just cultural differences. Some people just talk louder than other people. It doesn't mean that it's something to be threatened by. And I think once we become that and become just a little bit more human towards each other, it will be it'll just be a much funner environment for everyone to be in. We had opened up the second week of May, and then with the uprising and the death of George Floyd, there was tons of demonstrations. Some that we were part of and supported, different food drives. It allowed us to really reconnect with the community, which we enjoyed doing. So it did allow us to get engaged, but it was a tough time because, a lot of really tough conversations had to happen. And if we were able to be kind of open, that's what I think one of the biggest benefits we provide is just a really safe place for people to kind of come in with their friends and have some real good conversations about what's going on in the world while enjoying some food and being entertained. We've been lucky enough to really have a team that does not have a high turnover. I think most of the staff that's at Golden has been there since we've opened, probably around maybe 80% of them. And I think another thing is, majority of our staff and myself as an owner and my other partners are all people of color. So we've been able to give a lot of people who maybe didn't get opportunities in downtown and work in downtown, don't have a lot of experience and opportunity to work in an hospitality environment in a really nice venue and kind of learn the different ins and outs. So, which means they invite different people. They have friends that come and check them out and visit them. And, the bar is really long. So there's a lot of people that will be sitting at the bar and there'll just be conversations and opinions and what's going on, because we have the TVs playing. Usually there'll be something on there that's usually some sort of interesting topic to talk about. And you got, people from different backgrounds just, sharing their different ideas and it's a fun, it becomes a real fun environment. off-duty officers, and built some strong relationships with off-duty officers I've worked with, and I've used them considerably in the past. I feel that I want to make sure that everyone understands that there's a level of safety that we provide, and the off-duty officers that we use have built a rapport with a lot of our customers and our client base and our employees and myself. So it's always, it's almost like something that we like to see.
I'm here at First Avenue. My only connection to this venue is as a longtime patron, but it is just on a human level, it's sad. Like, we're in here and the space hasn't been at capacity for a year. And I think it's good to take a moment and absorb that. It's also inspiring to know that a national movement for independent venues to band together and save their future and save the future of independent entertainment and hospitality businesses going forward is a huge deal. Something that I'm really proud of that came out of Minneapolis in 2020.
Oh, I remember it very well, and this happened in quite literally in that first week after the shutdown when, I don't know if everybody remembers, but at first it was like we were going to move all the shows from March and April into May and June. We thought this is going to be a couple of weeks, and then pretty much didn't take long to realize, okay, this is going to be months, not weeks. And at that point, that was when we had to make the really difficult decision to lay everybody off. And we realized that we were looking at a scenario that nobody had ever planned for. Mass refunds for everything that was on the calendar, a complete shutdown of the business, and we couldn't even open our bar. And so our revenue went quite literally, we dropped more than 99% revenue overnight and had to lay off or furlough about 450 people, 98% of our staff. And we were pretty desperate, and so on our executive call, our executive team, we were talking like, how are we going to do this? We can maybe make it through a month or two, and we also realized that our competitors, they have much bigger cash reserves and support behind them, and they have organizations around the country, and there's nothing like that for independent concert operators. This is a really difficult business as it is, but it is populated by people who have a really strong independent spirit. And so for better or for worse, there's never really been a strong organizational pull to get everybody on the same page. But it was literally going to be a do or die. And I remember we had a conversation, and Dana Frank, the owner of First Avenue, just said, like, who can we reach out to? Like, who can we talk to about lobbying? And I was like, Dana, that organization just doesn't exist. It's not that we're missing it. It doesn't exist. And she said it needs to. And quite literally, I would say within 24 hours, she had connected with a handful of people that became the central organizers. And in a matter of, days or weeks, certainly it eclipsed 1,000 members, and then 2,000, and now there's over 3,000 members of this group. And it really did come up out of a last desperate lifeline to try and save as many of these venues and operators as possible, because we knew we needed representation to the government. With the passage of Save Our Stages in December, that's going to provide grant money to really keep our industry afloat until we can get to the other end of the pandemic. Going forward, now it's great, because now that the toughest part, the organizing effort of finding these independent people from all over the country and getting them together and getting them in an email list even, that's done. So now, thankfully, there is this light at the end of the tunnel where NEVA can now figure out what it's going to be moving forward. And it's just going to be a fantastic resource for our industry, hopefully in times of bounty.
If our downtowns didn't exist, it would be very easy for people from different walks of life to not cross paths. But the truth is, you brush up shoulders against people who come from a different town than you, who like different music than you, when you come downtown on a Friday or a Saturday night in the summer. And that is good for all of us. It's good for all of us to get outside our bubble. And that's what draws me to this work, of trying to think of how we can confront our failures and how we can start to lay the groundwork for a better future in our late night economy.
I guess the last thing, what did you learn last year?
that I'm not a very good cook. If I could do, or if I had the influence to make one change about how it seemed like globally we responded to the pandemic. It seemed like we had ideas about what was essential. And I think Minneapolis could have healed through this really hard time if we had some of our venues that opened up in cross-cultural experiences with music so that we could have healed together. And I think that was a really missed opportunity for me. I learned that, how important that is for us to get together. Essential.